I'm going to hate life.
Varsity game starts at 7. We'll get up.
We'll get home at like 10, bro.
We're going to get home late. All right, welcome back to another episode of the CG Sitdown. We have a special guest host.
I'm Jory Ratzlaff.
Okay, we're continuing our National FFA Week interviews here with Miss Austin, our leader of our FFA chapter. We're going to just start off with some simple questions. First of all, how are you?
I am doing great. You know, it's Monday, which means I get to do what I love and be with you guys, so
Yeah.
it's the best
Heck
day
yeah.
ever.
The bad thing is it's Monday, start of a new week. It's gonna be,
Oh.
hopefully this week goes by pretty fast.
Definitely.
All right, so we're going to start off with a nice, easy question. What is FFA?
Oh, that is such a great question. So, and I actually feel like it's supposed to be easy, and it's not. So FFA traditionally has stand for Future Farmers of America, but actually in the 80s they changed to the National FFA Organization, and the reason they did that was they wanted to kind of represent the growing diversity in agriculture. So we are in this era where we're moving away from production ag because less than 2% of Americans are actually farmers and ranchers. And now we're seeing a lot more of people being employed by the ag industry in places like CHS or like ag science, things like that. So it's kind of a changing organization because of that, but the most important part is that it's a leadership-based organization that is centered around agriculture.
Yeah, and we talked about this in Sages. People were, upset that we lost FBLA because that's a leadership in business. But I think a lot of people don't notice how much FFA still does for leaderships and stuff. And we talked about contests and all that with speech and all the other contests that just teach you so much more about FFA and business and leadership too at the same time. So that's really cool. Everybody has a different definition of FFA, but a lot of them go around the same thing of learning leadership and kind of stuff like that. So that's really awesome to hear.
So what made you start FFA here?
Oh,
No, not here. What made you
okay.
start it?
Or like-
why I
ever.
joined it? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually, you're never gonna guess this. Well, I did not want to join FFA, and in fact, I was completely against it because I was super shy. I hated talking to anyone. But my sister, I have an older sister, and she was in an ag class, and if you drug someone to a meeting with you, you got extra credit. And she was that
man.
person that she had to have all extra credit. So she was like, it doesn't matter. You're coming to this meeting with me. And so I did because you can't tell your older sibling no.
Right.
And so I went to this meeting, and then the advisor was just okay, you're in FFA now, and I'm just gonna force you to do things. Just I forced Jory to do a speech contest. So that's just how advisors are. So I was like, okay, well I guess I'm in this organization now. And then I couldn't say no, and so I started doing a lot of the contests, and I was like, wait, I actually enjoy this.
Right.
So I feel like that's a lot of it is sometimes advisors pushing you to do things, and then be like, oh yeah, Jory, I was really successful in that. So shockingly, I did not want to join. I was forced to join, and then never looked back.
That's awesome. What was your first competition that you ever did?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it was parliamentary procedures, which is how to host a meeting. And I remember they had to record because I was so quiet. You actually could not hear me saying my part. And I could not get over that. So they recorded it and they're like, see, you cannot hear yourself. You need to speak louder. So that was the first time I kind of pushed myself out of my shell and do something I was really scared to do.
I would have never have guessed you to be a shy person back in the day.
It was toxic.
That's awesome. All right.
So what spurred you on to start the FFA chapter here at Canton-Galva?
Oh, okay. So I was teaching in Illinois at the complete opposite of Canton-Galva. So it was a really large urban high school, and there was 1,000 people in the building. So it was very different, and I was not planning to leave that school at all. I really enjoyed it there. But my husband took a job at Hutch, and I was just trying to find a job. And so luckily, I truly believe that this was just a job that was meant for me, and I was really lucky because Canton-Galva opened, and then there was a position at Salina to be a welding instructor. And so I was between those two jobs, and I had started a new program at my old school as well, so I had background with that. And as much as I like welding, my love and passion for ag is actually ag science. Before I wanted to be an ag teacher, I wanted to be an ag biotechnologist. And so this was an ag science position, so I was very excited to apply for that. And I don't know if Sage talked about this, but originally that past superintendent was not looking for there to be an FFA program. He wanted it just to be ag classes.
I think she did, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not going to happen.
No.
There's got to be an FFA chapter
Yeah,
with it.
if you're going to have classes, you have to have the chapter
Yes,
go with it.
absolutely. And it's actually a 3-circle model. So you're supposed to have FFA and with the classroom and SAE. So I honestly just didn't really ask. I was like, we're just like going to do that. So luckily Sage had already pushed for that a little bit too, and we just chartered it and never looked back.
Yeah, she was talking about that, how that first year was really just kind of attack it and, see what happened. And actually we had a really successful first year, I would say, and
definitely.
second year.
Yeah.
Like last year we got to do a lot more around here, around the school,
Yes.
with
Even
COVID.
with COVID, yeah.
It shut down our first year pretty early, but
Yeah.
we did a good job at, coming back at it and, reaching out to our community more.
Yeah, I so agree. And I think you're right. Even though like a lot of our contests were online last year, you're very right in terms of like what we did with our community.
Right.
So like even if it was just working at the elementary school to do the PALS program and things like that, we were definitely still very involved.
And then like our hold on, I gotta think of the name, the fair. Career fair.
Yeah, the college and career fair.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a huge one too.
That was really cool to get, our local companies, maybe some of those kids here that didn't know those companies, or the companies that, didn't have a very good reach out, or even colleges gave kids a different look at colleges to see what they wanted to do. So that was really cool that we got to reach out and do that. And I think most of the kids here at the school enjoyed doing that.
Even me, like I was so shocked. I had no idea that Wald Family Foods was in McPherson until they came and wanted to do their like cool pizza thing.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
That was really cool.
That pizza was good, too.
It was really good for
amazing.
cauliflower.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was delicious.
No, yeah.
So what is National FFA Week?
So it's supposed to be a week where you really highlight FFA and agriculture as well, because even when being in a small school, there's someone who's not going to understand what FFA is. And both at my really urban school that I worked at here, there's going to be someone who thinks it's just for people who their parents are farming or their grandparents, and they're not going to realize that it's not like, they use the saying plows, cows, and sows. Like there's a lot more to that as well. So it's supposed to be to highlight the organization, the opportunities that you have to it, and then also to celebrate our members and give them like really fun things to do. Because a lot of times, I know you guys will understand, we put a lot of hours of work in, and sometimes I forget to have the fun things to do with it. So it's just a really fun week to highlight everyone's hard work and then also to show the community what we're doing, like right now.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I love how you said that, it's not just for kids that have a farming. We talked about that in Sages. You don't have to come from an ag background to, be an FFA, because, we have those speech programs and business or leaders.
And job interview. And,
yeah, like there's different things that, don't always have to do with ag. So now you might have to use ag to.
As a lens almost,
Yeah, because Sage is a big, she goes to a lot of those competitions and speaking and everything. And I love always hearing about her, her issues that she's talking about. And, that's a different thing from learning to, speak, but really all you have to do is just include it as ag.
Absolutely.
But then, like I said, or like we said, you don't have to be from an ag background.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things that people start to learn is that you gain so many like soft skills that your employers really want as well. So even if it's like time management, because obviously like both of you have so many things. Like you have sports, you have school, and then you also have FFA. So be able to manage that, that's a huge thing that employers can look for.
It is, yeah.
And then just in terms of like communication, and a lot of the FFA things we do are like higher level thinking. Like, how Jory had to do extemporaneous. So he had no clue what his topic was going to be until he rolled in 30 minutes before the contest to start that. So those are things that employers want to see in their candidates. And I really do think that it makes our students and our members more qualified to take on jobs.
I agree. Let's see. Okay. If you want to talk about any, what are the plans for National FFA Week? What you can tell us. That's not a surprise.
Absolutely. So we're obviously going to have a dress-up day just because that's very fun. And so usually they're kind of tied around agriculture, but I will say that Garrett and Jace really push for a Hawaiian shirt day. And so we're definitely doing that on the Tuesday. And I will admit that I purchased an FFA-themed Hawaiian shirt, so it's hideous. But I can't wait to wear it. Yeah, just wait. So we'll have dress-up days each day. And then we'll also have, during seminar, we will have something each day for FFA members to participate in. So it's kind of fun games, just things to celebrate. And then we also will have, we finally got official confirmation that we will have a state officer here one of the days. So we host for our first year members a green hand, we call it the Lock and Lead Leadership Boot Camp. So we take all the freshmen out, or first year members, for an hour, hour and a half, and we do different sessions. So a state officer will lead a session, Ms. Jones and I will lead a session, and the officers will. And it's supposed to be concepts like communication and team building, my favorite concept of grit, things like that. And then we also do an 8th grade recruitment. So this year I have all of the 8th graders, which is great. But we also want to retain them and see them next year.
Right.
So we'll pull them out on a Wednesday for an hour and just talk about like what is FFA, like you talked about here,
Right.
what's an SAE even, and then like what are the classes that are offered. And we did that for the first time last year, and we noticed a significant jump in how many 8th graders actually stayed in the program.
Right. Yeah.
So that was huge for our growth. So we'll definitely be continuing that one as well.
And then are we going to do another 6th grade?
Yeah,
charter
4th
day?
grade, yes.
4th grade, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is always like I feel like everyone's highlight because it's so much fun.
Oh,
But
man.
yes, right before spring break we'll do another 4th grade ag day, and not only do we love it, every year I get like such positive feedback because you guys do such a great job with the sessions with the 4th graders, and some of them are like, I've never seen a cow before.
Right.
And so yeah, we'll definitely do that again.
That's awesome. I love, and you know, it's always fun getting, reaching out to the younger. You know.
Yes.
I feel like that introduction, like early on, can definitely spur more involvement later as
Oh.
well.
Good.
So.
I agree. Yeah,
So agree with that.
100%.
And then, just what are some short-term and long-term goals for the FFA chapter as it stands right now?
Great question.
Oh, that might be my favorite question. So I always warn people that I have like these big grand ideas. And so I really want to see our FH chapter continue to grow. So we definitely did this past year, not only in like membership of like high school members, but also how many 8th graders continued into the program.
Yeah.
So I really want to see that. And if you think about it, this is my 3rd year here and the 3rd year for the chapter. So really, we don't have a whole lot of seniors, but we have like a ton of juniors and sophomores and freshmen. So hopefully, as we continue to go into our 4th year, we will see once again another bump in membership. But I would also like to be able to offer some new classes. So next year we will be offering a job internship course. So for example, if you are a senior, you'll be able to have like an ag internship or something related to ag to be able to go there and actually get some job experience, which I think is really important to be able to say like, yes, I do want this job, or no, this one is not for me.
Right.
Of course.
So there's that, and then also trying to grow our facilities as well. So keep kind of purchasing things that are really useful for our FFA members, and just trying new contests as well. So like this past year, we did ag issues for the first time. I would like to actually have some people do ag science fair project at the state contest this year as well. So pretty much just doing more things and
Bigger
trying to
and
be
better.
big. Yes, absolutely. That's it.
And then, so that job internship class, is that a semester class? Or is that going to be a year?
Hopefully we can make it a year long. So I think we could kind of personalize it for each student and what they need. If they need it for just a semester, that's fine. But I would like to have a year long as well. So you could be out for an hour or two each morning. And some schools have also kind of changed it. So you might have 4 different mini ones, and you go to one job for 9 weeks and then switch, just to let you see really the different areas in agriculture.
Right.
So we can definitely personalize it.
I feel like that would definitely help for people that are like, on the
Yes.
edge of certain jobs and certain career paths, to be able to
Yes.
get that experience.
I so agree. And I think a lot of times we say like, oh, I definitely want to be this career, but when you never get to actually experience it like in that job, then you might get there and be like, oh, this is not it.
Right. And then, does it help our FFA program the more contests we do? Do we get like points or something for that?
That's a good question. So we don't necessarily get more points, but I will say, so I always do a year-end kind of review with Mr. Struber, actually. And I'd like to be able to show that we've done more things. And then also what's really important to me, and I think we've been doing really good this last year, is more involvement. So like we can say like, oh yeah, we've gone to 10 contests, but if only 2 students have done that, then are we really impacting our students and our community? Probably not. So we've seen a huge jump in that too, and how many students are doing different contests. So that's what's really important to me.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Miss Austin, for coming and joining us today, and we'll can't wait to see how our FFA week plans out.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll put out all our episodes every day of the week. We don't know if we're gonna put you first or last. We'll see.
Probably last. I'm the worst one. No, sorry.
No, you did great.
No, you
so
saved the
thank
best
you
for
again.
last.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, thank you again for coming in, talking to us about FFA and the National FFA Week, and we'll see you later.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.